Hello everybody, I am Jared Ross, the GeneaVlogger, and on today's video we'll be discussing what I've learned from painting my DNA. Painting your DNA is just when you figure out what parts of your DNA came from which ancestors. The basic idea is that when you have a DNA match where you know how you're related, then the DNA that you share with that DNA match most likely came through the shared ancestors that you have. So let's say I have a second cousin match who descends from a sibling of my paternal grandmother. I can then assign that shared DNA to my paternal grandmother because she is who I must have inherited that DNA from. To assign this DNA, you just go to DNApainter.com and create a chromosome map. Copy the shared segment data from the DNA testing website, click Paint a DNA Match in DNA Painter, paste the segment data, and then click Save Match Now. While segment data is available through pretty much all of the DNA database websites, it is not available through Ancestry. For a while there, 23andMe didn't have one either. They had taken one away that they used to have, but they actually just re-released it recently, so now you can start DNA painting matches from 23andMe again. But once you assign the data, it colors the chromosomes in your chromosome map where you're matching, and now you're painting your DNA. And once you've identified a bunch of your DNA matches and painted them into your chromosome map, you get something like this. This is my most up-to-date chromosome mapping. And after 23andMe re-released their chromosome browser, I was back in my chromosome map painting the matches from 23andMe, and as I was doing that, I started to notice some really interesting things that I hadn't realized before. So I thought I'd make this video. So first, I'm going to talk about my maternal side because there's a lot we can learn from there, largely because I had my maternal grandmother test at multiple websites. So I've actually got a lot of data thanks to her. And when I switch my chromosome map to just the maternal side, you can see that everything in blue is where I'm matching my grandmother. The first thing that stood out is that the majority of my maternal 6th chromosome, 17th chromosome, and my X chromosome are from my maternal grandmother. But my maternal 13th chromosome and 22nd chromosome are completely from my maternal grandfather. When I analyze my X chromosome further, I notice that 2 of my cousins who are siblings match me here, and they both descend from a brother of my great-grandfather. In other words, the father of my maternal grandmother. But because of the inheritance pattern of the X chromosome, I know that all of my great-grandfather's X chromosome came from his mother, because what he got from his father was a Y chromosome. So I can actually identify that this part of my X chromosome comes directly from my second great-grandmother, Fanny Ecoff, who was born Fanny Dudas in Odessa around 1861. This also means that if I can identify any matches who share a significant amount of DNA on their X chromosome at that same spot, then they are most likely a relative through my Dudas line. And this is why DNA painting is so powerful for genetic genealogy, because once you've figured out where spots of your DNA are being inherited from, anyone that matches you there, you now have a very clear idea of how they are likely matching you through your family tree. Now, another really cool thing about having my grandmother tested is that it actually allows me to see the endogamy in my DNA. Endogamy is when a specific population group marries and has children largely with others from that same population group for many, many generations. And this can be for various reasons, such as cultural, religious, or even geographical, with some island populations actually having the biggest impact from endogamy. And this endogamy causes the descendants of these population groups to share more DNA with each other on average. And this is largely because they're related in many more ways than most people are related. So when you look at their DNA, they have a higher total amount of DNA, but because a lot of these relations they have with each other are a little bit more distant, they're often much smaller segments. And when you look at various population groups that are endogamous, the levels that the endogamy affects the DNA can really vary. So like I mentioned before with some Pacific Islander populations, their endogamy is really intense and it causes them to have a really high amount of shared DNA. On the other end, you have some population groups like French Canadians, where they do have endogamy, but the effect on the DNA just isn't quite as intense. And when it comes to Jews, they're actually an endogamous population. So most Jews are related to each other in many, many distant ways. So when you do have a DNA match where you do have a more recent connection, you also have a lot more distant connections on top of that. And since my grandmother's tested, I can actually see the segments where my known cousins from my grandmother's side are matching me, but not in a spot where I inherited DNA from my grandmother. In other words, these segments of DNA are likely through some more distant relation to me, possibly through either my grandfather's ancestry or even through my father's side. You can see most big segments overlap with my grandmother, but a lot of the smaller segments are the ones that don't overlap. Even more, when I overlay the shared segments with cousins from my maternal grandfather, there are multiple small segments that overlap with my grandmother. Now, looking more at my maternal grandfather's side, one of the interesting things I noticed was that the OXTR gene coincides with a segment on my third chromosome that I share with a second cousin who descends from my grandfather's sister. This OXTR gene is linked to personality, including empathy and the ability to handle stress. My mom has always said that my personality is very similar to my grandfather's, and honestly, when I think about it, there's also a lot of similarity I see there with this second cousin who I share this segment with. So it is kind of cool to see a correlation between the scientific data of where I'm actually matching my cousins and knowing what ancestors that DNA is likely coming through, and the similarities that we often place between different family members, which I know is a common thing in my family of, we're more like this side, or this one's more like that cousin, or this one's more like that grandparent. But I'm pretty sure that's something most families do. And as I mentioned earlier, my 22nd chromosome comes completely from my maternal grandfather, but also correlates with a personality-related gene known as COMT, although this affects things like mental illness, alcohol dependence, and opioid dependence. And here things don't mesh quite as much because my grandfather was a big drinker, from what I understand, kind of like an everyday drinker, whereas I am very different. I do not drink much at all. I'm much more of a have one or two at special events sort of thing. But staying looking at my 22nd chromosome, but now looking at my paternal side, I noticed that the majority of my 22nd chromosome actually came specifically from my great-grandfather David Goldberg, who's my purely paternal great-grandfather. I actually have 5 paternal matches on this chromosome, each one of these segments coming from a match who descends from a different sibling of my great-grandfather. Now, I don't really know a ton about my great-grandfather's personality. He's kind of this foggy, mysterious character, largely because the family stories about him mainly paint him as kind of a villain. And I feel like for a lot of families, when you have a family member who's especially painted as a villain by the younger generations, you don't really get a very nuanced picture of their life story and their personality. So if this personality gene coincides with my great-grandfather and he was seen more as a villain, hopefully that's not a bad sign for me. But what is also interesting here is that with this gene correlating to alcohol dependency, from all the stories I heard of my great-grandfather, I never heard anything about him being a drunk or really drinking or anything like that. And then on top of that, I don't remember ever hearing anything about my grandfather being much of a drinker, my dad's dad, and then my dad is not much of a drinker at all, and then I'm not much of a drinker. But another thing interesting with the 22nd chromosome is I actually know that the entire chromosome was inherited from my paternal grandfather. I was actually able to do what's called visual phasing for my DNA, or at least most of it. Visual phasing is a technique where you use 3 very close relatives, preferably 3 siblings, to compare the recombination points in their DNA, and you can actually use that to figure out what parts of each of their DNA is coming from which one of their 4 grandparents. I was able to do this by using my DNA, my siblings' DNA, my paternal aunt's DNA, and my grandmother's DNA. In fact, I found that my paternal 15th, 21st, and 22nd chromosomes were inherited entirely from my paternal grandfather. Knowing this, I'm hoping that I can also identify matches that are likely through my paternal grandfather's mother, Fanny, who's my earliest brick wall in my family tree. If I can identify paternal matches who match me on one of these three chromosomes, they have to either be a relative through my great grandfather David Goldberg or my great grandmother Fanny. So if I can find paternal matches that are matching me on one of these three chromosomes, and I see they're not correlating with my Goldberg cousins, which I have a lot of them, then that's likely an indication this relative is through my great grandmother Fanny, and this should hopefully give me traction to eventually identify her parents, if she had siblings, and her actual life story. So, once again, the big benefit of doing DNA painting and visual phasing for your genetic genealogy. But I will say this is definitely on the more advanced side of genetic genealogy. So it's very difficult for some to get down, especially visual phasing, but it is extremely worthwhile. Funny enough, I actually did a consultation recently where I gave them the advice to look into visual phasing. And like right before I went down to go shoot this video, they sent me an email going, I've been trying to figure out this visual phasing, but it is making me crazy. Would you want to make a video about how to do visual phasing? So maybe I'll have to do a video about that at some point. So if you're interested in that, comment below, let me know. But back to DNA, I also found that my paternal 16th chromosomes were entirely from my paternal grandmother's side. Now this is interesting because the 16th chromosome is where the MC1R gene is located. So this affects freckles, red hair, and melanin. So as a ginger, you can imagine that this gene is kind of an interesting and important one to me. Knowing that this comes from my paternal grandmother definitely makes sense because when I was a child, I looked a lot like my grandmother and her siblings as children as well. Not only do I know that it is through the paternal grandmother thanks to visual phasing, but I was also able to paint my 16th chromosome in the spot where the MC1R gene is located, and that DNA comes from my paternal grandmother's father, Harry Ross. And this was actually quite interesting for me because it wasn't what I expected. Everyone in my family growing up always talked about how my great grandmother Pearl, Harry's wife, was the one who had red hair. And of course, this segment that's matching up could be endogamous and representative of a much more distant sort of connection. But when I look at all of the ancestors of mine where I have photos of them, I find that beyond my dad, my great grandfather Harry is the one that I look the most like, especially when you look at me when I was younger and him when he was younger. So maybe there is something else going on there. And if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more about chromosome browsers, and most especially 23andMe re-releasing their chromosome browser, be sure to check out this video of mine right here. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you to my Patreon patrons and YouTube members.